This world could be considered a land of dreams and fantasy, but that's just on the surface. Wherever there is light, there is always darkness. Evie, you're sure you know where you're going? How many times do I have to tell you? We have no real destination, so stop complaining. Fine. A man and a woman walked through the ruins of what used to be a small village. The man was just under 6 feet tall, with black hair. His right eye was red, his left a light powder blue. The woman was slightly shorter, with vibrant red hair that caught the light whenever she moved. Her right eye was a bright emerald green, her left a soft light purple, striking and unusual, like a living painting. As they passed the remains of the destroyed marketplace, Jing looked around, muttering, "Who could live out here in these ruins?" "Is that concern I hear in your voice, Jing?" Evie teased, a faint smile playing at her lips. "Besides, it can't hurt to check, right?" She was interrupted by a sudden bump against her leg. "What was that?" she exclaimed, instinctively steadying herself. Jing's eyes narrowed, tracking the small object that darted past them. "Don't know. Whatever it is, it's heading to the outskirts." "Let's follow it," Evie said, already moving. She was quick but deliberate, her practical boots making little sound against the cracked stones. Jing followed, keeping his distance but staying close enough to intervene if necessary. "Jing, we want to follow it back to wherever it calls home. Keep your distance." "Understood," Jing replied shortly. They trailed the figure to an abandoned house sitting at the very edge of town. Evie's eyes gleamed with quiet determination as she watched the shape slip inside. "All right, Jing. Time to meet our rude little friend." As they approached the crumbling house, faint voices floated through the air. "Ha ha, a nice haul today." "Sora, you have to stop doing things like that." "Well, we have to survive somehow." "But what if that person starves because of you?" "Not my fault if they can't protect what's theirs." Evie's expression hardened at the words. "Little thief," she murmured. "Let's go. Jing, take the back. I'll go through the front." Evie moved smoothly to where a door once stood, her steps silent and sure. "I'll be taking my money back," she said evenly, stepping into the threshold. A young boy spun to face her, hastily throwing himself into a defensive stance, clearly prepared to protect the others. "Run for it! I'll hold her off!" he yelled. The 3 other children bolted toward the back, only to be stopped almost immediately by a startled scream. A small girl raced back into the room, tears spilling down her face. "Sora, Sis, and Val got caught," she sobbed. "What?" Sora turned, eyes wide. Jing entered calmly, carrying a struggling young girl over his shoulder and a boy tucked under his opposite arm, both wriggling uselessly. "Viri, Val!" Sora cried. He turned to glare at Jing, fists balled. "Let them go, you bastard!" Jing's response was cold and indifferent. "Can we just leave them? They're a liability." "Jing!" Evie barked sharply, her voice carrying the weight of command. "You will not harm them. Put them down. Now." Jing exhaled heavily, but obeyed, setting the children back onto the ground. They scrambled to Sora's side without hesitation. Evie crouched to their level, offering a warm but firm smile. "Sora, right? You care about them a lot, don't you?" "Yeah," Sora said guardedly, never taking his eyes off Jing. "We're all we've got." Evie's smile softened. "You don't have to worry. Jing looks scary, but he's not going to hurt you." She shot Jing a knowing look. "Not while I'm here." Slowly, the room's tension began to ebb. Evie kept her voice gentle but clear. "How would you like to come with us? We have a real home, a safe one, food, shelter, and people who'll look out for you." Sora looked hesitant, glancing at Jing again. "Is your psycho boyfriend staying there too?" he asked nervously. Evie burst out laughing, a real, bright sound that filled the room. "He's not my boyfriend, just a stubborn friend," she said, her voice full of warmth. "If you stay with us, I promise he won't hurt you." Jing crossed his arms, looking skeptical but remaining silent. "Evie, are you sure about this?" he asked after a moment. She straightened, meeting his gaze firmly. "Look at them, Jing. They're surviving here alone. They're brave, but they shouldn't have to live like this." Her expression softened further. And besides, they're adorable. But Jing started. No, they're coming with us. They're mine now, Evie declared, her tone brooking no argument. Jing simply sighed, resigned. He knew when to pick his battles, and this wasn't one he could win. Evie turned back to the children. So, what are your names? The kids exchanged nervous glances. Finally, the youngest girl stepped forward. I'm Kaori, she said shyly. Kaori, the older girl scolded. You can't just tell strangers your name. But sis, she's nice, Kaori protested. She might be, Sora muttered, but he's a psychopath. He jerked a thumb toward Jing. Evie chuckled. Jing, show them something. Without a word, Jing knelt down and placed a hand to the ground. A small orb of light formed, expanding and reshaping until it took on the form of a tiny red panda. The creature blinked, tilted its head, then scampered onto Sora's head, perching there contentedly. The children stared, wide-eyed. If you come with us, Evie said, you can keep it. Sora hesitated, still suspicious, but the sight of the magical creature softened him. I'm Sora, he said at last. The quiet boy beside him spoke next, his voice quiet but steady. Valel. The older girl crossed her arms, scowling, but finally gave in with an exaggerated huff. Fine, Viridia, she said. Evie beamed, pulling the four of them into a tight, protective hug. You're safe now, she whispered. Jing simply sighed, watching the scene unfold. Guess we're heading home then, he said dryly. Yes, Evie cheered, still clinging to her new family like she was never letting go.